All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the FANG session. We have with us our alumni, Bahar, and she has been a student of DSA as well as system design cohorts. She has experience attending classes under my instructor as when I was instructor for DSA and Raj sir for system design. All right. She has amazing offers. But more than offers, it's the story behind her struggle, which is really inspiring and how she navigated. I wanted to learn myself how she managed all the things, and uh, it's not a one day thing. She has taken a lot of efforts. She's been working from December 2020, right? And even before that. So without me giving any details about Bahar, so this is going to be the logistics of the. I'll be asking few questions that come to my mind. We'll keep it very informal. If she wants to add anything, she can add in between only. But then we will be opening the call or the chat to our students from S30, and they can ask questions. Kindly don't ask any personal or specific questions which she might not be able to answer because she has already signed the NDA, but gracefully she has agreed to record the session. And uh, or don't ask the repeat questions or whatever information she has already given. Please don't ask those things. Kindly keep yourself on mute initially, and when we open the panel to the questions, then you can raise your hand or you can just post it in the chat also. We have 100 students. That's amazing. All right, I'll be posting a thread for questions in the general channel also. If you have, if the questions come to your mind, you can post them right here only. Unfortunately, we will not be having more than 100 because I think the limit is 100, and students are pinging in the channel that they are not able to join. It's because it's uh, the limit is 100, I guess, in Zoom. Um, Recording it. All right, all right, Bahar. What's your journey? What's your story? What do you want to share? How did you, reach where you have reached?
Yeah, so initially when I graduated, but just before I graduated, I took your course. I gave a lot of interviews and then finally got into Amazon. I was there for about 2 years and then I got laid off last year, which was 2023 January layoffs, Amazon. And then so it was my second H1B attempt. We get three H1B attempts. My first one didn't go through. My second one, it was right 2 months before H1B lottery application. And then I got laid off. I really wanted a job because I didn't want to miss the second H1B attempt. And I interviewed at a lot of places, but the market was really bad. I interviewed at Expedia initially, and it went well. But they didn't give me offer because they had a lot of people lined up. So in the meantime, I interviewed at a lot of other companies, but it didn't just go through. Um, and finally, they gave me offer 3 months later. So I joined in April at Expedia. Um, my H1 didn't go through in the second attempt with Amazon. So, and then I joined Expedia because I didn't have a choice. It was a good team, good opportunity. And then I was left with one H1B attempt, which was this year's. I knew Expedia did not support CPT. They were not sure about Canada. They were like, we can try. So I just came out of the job hunt and then I didn't want to. I kind of did I did start to job hunt again, but then since I was also employed with Expedia, I didn't have much time. I got a few opportunities, but it just didn't go through. I was not completely uh, into job hunt or preparation. So I was like, okay, let's see what it's gonna happen. So it didn't go through in the third attempt. And then so it was this year, April 1st, I got my results, and then Expedia was not willing to send me to Canada because they shut down one office and they were planning to close the other one. Um, they were not willing to support CPT. So now my only option was to quit Expedia. And I was there until June. So I started applying for jobs from April 1st. And then a lot of rejections because my visa was expiring in July. So my EAD was expiring in July, and then no company was willing to hire me. No company was. I didn't have any resources on. I didn't hear anybody who has been hired externally on CPT, and I think this is something that nobody talks about openly. Also, um, so I knew a few friends who were already at companies whose H1B didn't go through, and they were either being sent to Canada or their company were supporting CPT. But I did not find any resources about somebody who has been hired externally on CPT. So April 1st, when I got my results, I reached out to a lot of people on LinkedIn because I knew Walmart supports CPT. I knew I had a list of few companies who support CPT. So I reached out to Walmart's managers, a lot of managers on LinkedIn. One of them replied and he got on a call with me to talk about the next steps. And he asked me about my visa. So I told him I'm on CPT. And then he said, Walmart is not going to hire you externally on CPT. So that scared me even more because I was under the impression that companies hire you externally on CPT. And then, yeah, so I kept applying to a lot of companies. I still kept applying to Walmart, even though that manager told me. And then I was also working at Expedia, so I was not fully practicing lead code and was not ready completely. So I failed a lot of interviews. I gave interviews in May, June. I failed a lot of them. Um, I also got opportunities in July. July was when I completely full time was focused on lead code, system design, everything. And I failed a lot of interviews. I failed around 10 interviews. And then so at every point, at every interview, I realized I was weak in system design. That was something I was very scared of. And I just used to read books, go through YouTube videos, but I always used to fail in interviews. So I had to take an action because I was like, I'm getting this one opportunity and I don't want to miss it. And I fail it and I feel guilty about not doing it well. So I took system design course, Raj sir's course. So before that, I was always lost on how to navigate in system design. I don't know what to do. I know the what do you say? I know what it is, but I don't know how to navigate it. I'm just lost in between. But I took very few classes of Ratsur. I just took 1 week of classes, 1, 2 weeks. I was not consistent, but I took 1, 2 weeks, and I got that clarity of how to approach, how you can drive your system design interview, and then that gave me a lot of clarity. And then I had interviews lined up, so there was this one company that I wanted to get into so badly. It was called Brex,
Yeah.
and it was a fintech. It's a fintech company. So I knew I was not good at system design. Some interviews I failed at behavioral as well, uh, initial interviews. So at every stage, I realized what I was missing, what are my flaws. So yeah, so Brex was something I really wanted to get into, and then I read all the kind of questions they could ask. So this is one thing. Whenever there is so Brex is fintech, so they ask you something related to fintech. They'll ask you about transactions, what is locking, how can you make sure that there is only one transaction. So I really wanted to get into, and I gave a lot of mocks just before breaks so that I realized where I'm missing. And thankfully that interview went well. But then there was debugging round that was very easy, and then it didn't go well. So uh, after that, I was completely I don't want to do this. And then 1 2 days I spent this is what I wanted to where I wanted to be, and I'm not here. So, and 2 days later I had Walmart's interview, which was in person. So after my Brex rejection, I didn't do anything that day. I was just crying because that's how I express. But yeah. And the next day, I didn't have a choice but to prepare for Walmart. So, especially in person. So, that was my first in person interview, system design and coding. So, I prepared everything. And then I was like, it's fine. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm going to try my best and prepare everything. So I went there without any I was not scared because I already was rejected, and then that anger or that sadness was there in me that I was not scared. And then yeah, after I went, it was my first coding round, coding plus Walmart asked Java questions, so they asked me that. That went well. And then there was system design, which was on the whiteboard. Two people interviewed me, and it went really well. And the next day, I got feedback from my recruiter saying your system design went very well. And I was really surprised and proud that, because usually my system design is the one that never goes well. So yeah, and then I think I got that confidence that I know I know stuff. I know I can say, it's just that I'm scared or I lose all my confidence after a rejection. So yeah, the next day I got into Walmart, and then I had Oracle lined up. So yeah, initially I think I was scared. I didn't have the confidence. Walmart was something that gave me confidence. And that's when I got the rest of the other uh, I cracked the rest of the other companies.
Yeah. So Walmart was the domino effect, and Oracle, and after that, you got into which
After that, I got into PayPal and then Google.
All right. So Oracle was also system design plus DSA, or it was DSA only?
No, it was system design plus DSA. All the companies had system design except for Google because that was L3.
Got it. Got it. So all in all, if we have to summarize, how many years of struggle? Or or
So
that journey is still going on.
yeah, I start my career, and then 2 years later I'm doing lead
Yeah.
code again.
So,
So
so in December or in 2021, you told me that you got into Amazon, and I was like, Bahar is set for life, and she's
yeah,
going to stay for 4 or 5 years in Amazon. She's going to have amazing experience, and then suddenly, I got a lot of messages from when it's not only your message, but a lot of students were, a lot of early
impacted.
S30 students were laid off in Amazon. I think in one day I got like 40 plus messages
Yeah,
of layoffs at Amazon. And then I was like, oh, she's in the same boat. I cannot imagine what you should would have been going through. Um, all right, let's come to the interviews. So Oracle, PayPal, I understand. Once you start going, once you have an offer, or once you have a
yeah,
confidence behind, then you start cracking the interviews, and it generally happens a lot of times um, that the students are failing one after. I know one of our early students who is now at Google. She also failed, and she failed 14 interviews one after another, and she did the cohort at that after that, and she had the confidence just because of the structure of the cohort. It does give you a little bit of
yeah,
confidence.
yeah.
So let's talk about the interviews. So if you have to compare, without going into the details of the kind of, or what exact questions were asked. We have a little bit of clarity about Brex and Oracle, but if you can cover about PayPal and Google and Oracle, what were the kind of family of problems or patterns that you were asked? And I understand that the initial interviews are difficult, but if you have to take a bird eye view strategically, that which interviews, if you have to mentor the students, you have to that you would tell the students that this is the focus area for this company.
Yeah. So I think Walmart, it focuses on everything. They don't focus much on behavioral. They focus more on system design, coding. Even if you're not able to solve but explain the logic, you're good. Not able to solve completely, I mean, at least code a little. And Java questions. So what is object-oriented design principles? What are REST methods? So the REST methods one I got asked in PayPal as well. So it's like normal Java interview questions. If you Google the list that you get, it's one of those. And Oracle focuses more on behavioral. So I had my on-site 4 rounds and 35 minutes was behavioral in 3 rounds. Yeah. So
That's quite a lot.
yeah, yeah.
So is it like the leadership principles at Amazon, or
Yes. So every interviewer is assigned with certain values, the OCI values, and they focus on that. And whatever answer you give uh, is based on your resume, and they dig more into it. They have follow-ups as to why this, what would you do this? Yeah, all those sort of questions.
and Google?
Google was straight technical, so 4 rounds on site, 45 minutes each. The 3 rounds are completely coding, no bullshit, just coding. And then fourth round is completely behavioral. Yeah. So they also ask you about your school projects, your grad school projects. Yeah.
Mhm.
Why this? Everything in your resume, basically.
Got it. So 3 rounds, and they were data structures and algorithms.
Yes, all the
DP.
three data structures
Do you
algorithms.
remember it was DP? What kind of graph? What kind of problems were there?
Yeah, so in my phone screen, I was asked DP,
Okay.
uh, and in my virtual onsite, one was tree question, one was array question, yeah, and one was, I think, string question.
Was it something that we should be adding into the cohort that you were missing, or with whatever material that we are covering in the DSA course, that's enough?
Yeah, and that's enough. It's nothing extraordinary. Yeah.
Got it, got it, got it. All right. So now you covered about the interview aspect of it, but I think the more is Srirang. Srirang is also is our Amazon. He just sent me not he's not at Amazon, sorry, he's at Google. He just sent me a question. Uh, was it for L3 or Oracle? Shirag, I'll ask you to ask the question directly to Bahar. He has sent me a direct message. Shirag, if you are in the call, then I'll invite you to ask this question just in 2 minutes, okay? Um, so Bahar, before getting the questions from the students, um, one is that you have already covered about your technical, about your experience, about your interview experience, and but I want to focus more on the mindset. And I I know that whatever you do, that once you're going through the failures, then you have to uh, you feel remorse for a few days. But you had an extended this thing, right? Struggle, and not only the struggle was like this. Your struggle was starting from even getting the interview calls because you were on CPT, right? And then
Mhm.
going through everything, and then one of the companies that you mentioned, it went well. Expedia, right? Initially,
Mhm.
where
Yeah.
everything went well, but still, and it happened a lot during
Yeah.
that time. So what was the I understand that you cried sometimes, but how did you cope up? with the stress, and what would you recommend to the students uh, in your learnings for system design and DSA? What would you recommend the students to get into? What kind of how to develop that mindset and how to be technically proficient also?
Yeah. So, whenever I start my interview preparation, I always do, for me at least, I always do topic wise. I only go through what your curriculum is, but I created a separate Excel with just your questions, but it is topic wise.
Okay.
So, and whenever I start with, I usually take the topic that I'm very comfortable with, very little confident about, even if I'm doing it, or my favorite topic. So my favorite topic is BFS.
Mm.
So I usually start with it, so that I can get little confidence that okay, I can now go to array strings, all those. So I usually start with that, and I just keep applying. And whenever I get a call, I usually have at least 1 week to give the interview. So I go to the company tagged questions and do those based on the number of questions it is. If it is more, then I do 3 months, 6 months questions. And I have been asked directly straight from the tagged questions a lot of times. So that really helps, company tagged questions, which is on late code. So yeah, and I think you also lose your confidence. So I was not able to do a basic array question or basic BFS question. And I usually lose my confidence. This is such an easy question, I'm not able to do it. But I've realized it's very normal to not know because you're doing it after a very long time. It's very normal to forget. But as long as you realize it and keep working on it, you should be good. So I was completely, my confidence went down because, oh, this is such an easy problem and I'm not able to solve it. But yeah, just keep doing it, keep practicing it.
Got it. Awesome. So now you have joined Oracle, right?
Yeah,
And in which city you are?
Seattle.
Seattle. Okay. Yeah. Not that much sun, but yeah, that's with the Amazon also you were in Seattle only.
Yes, I've been
So you
here.
got used to the
Yeah.
nuances of Seattle. All right. And are you planning to switch to any of the companies? You mentioned that you can go to Google for 1 year, right? So
Yeah.
you're planning to switch to Google, or you are just testing the waters that okay, if Oracle is good, I am good over here.
So, Oracle, I think Google follows me. So, the team that I got in Oracle is Oracle OCI with GCP, Google Cloud. So, it's a nice team. It just started. I think so much to learn. So, once um, I have both on my resume, GCP and OCI. So, I think that'll also help me get an interview call from Google. But yeah, I think at least my dream company would be Google or Netflix. So,
And but why can't you go to you already cleared? So you are not in the team matching round at Google now?
so I initially, no, I was in team matching round, but since I'm on CPT, they are not supporting
Oh,
CPT.
CPT
Yeah.
is CPT is the Ravan over
Oh, yes.
there. All right. So, but it is eligible for 1 year. So probably after a few months you can.
If my H1 goes through next year, then
Yeah,
yeah.
it'll go through. So Oracle, I know that they adjust you in Canada also.
Yes.
Yeah, they adjust you in Canada also. All right. I might have missed some of the questions, but I want to give enough time to the students to ask the questions. Srirag, can you unmute yourself and can you ask your question if you are there in the call right now? Srirag,
Yeah, I'm here.
Srirag, please introduce yourself also a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Hey everyone, I'm Srirag. I've been in Google for over 2 years now, and I think I was part of the June S30 batch 3 years ago. Yeah,
Awesome. And you can ask your question, please.
yeah, sure. Hey Bahar, first of all, yeah, congrats on having level 4 offers. That's especially
Thank
around this one,
you.
it's really
Yeah.
hard. Yeah. My question was that, so you were talking about interview experiences, and you mentioned most of them are system design and Google did not. Uh, if you could mention what roles they were for, like I'm guessing most of them were for senior roles because I know,
Sorry, can
yeah,
you?
I mean, yeah. My question is that since you were asked system design, I'm guessing they were all for senior roles and not entry level roles, because
Yeah,
I system design is scary, and I don't know if they're asked for entry level roles for all companies, and yeah, people get
yeah.
scared. I myself get scared. So if you could mention,
Yes, system design is very scary because I was never prepared for it. When I gave at Amazon, it was L4 level SD1, so I didn't have system design. At Expedia, I did have system design when I interviewed, but it was very high level. They did not go into depth. But as you go into more senior levels, if you have 3+ experience, they do have system design and they do go into depth. So, yeah, I think give a lot of mocks. I gave a lot of mocks and then I realized where I need to focus more on. And depending on what company you get, practice those kind of questions. So if it's I got a lot of fintech. So I got PayPal. They asked me a lot of questions related to transactions locking. Brex asked me. So Brex actually, because when I prepared for Brex, I completely prepared all the fintech questions they could ask. Even though it didn't go through for Brex, it went through for PayPal. That helped me for PayPal interview. So it also helped me for Walmart interview. So I was asked few questions like what is pessimistic locking, what is optimistic locking. So what is the difference? So yeah, I think the more you give mocks and do different types of questions, uh, that's when yeah, mock interviews actually helped me.
Got it. Awesome. Chirag, does that answer your question?
yeah,
Awesome. So
thank you.
Premang asks, is the system design S30 design resource sufficient or you need to refer to other resources? We do provide other resources in the cohort as well, but I would like, I just want to add this too. So system design is not every month cohort at S30, and it may be because Rasar is the lead instructor, and I am not never the lead instructor for system design, so I don't feel the need. Do you think that we should be making it every month and we should be, uh, it will be beneficial for the students? What other feedback that you have for system design?
Yeah, at least for me, it helped me a lot. It gave me the kind of clarity I needed because I've been preparing since 2 months. I've so nothing actually worked out for me. A lot of people suggested go watch Gaurav Sen's videos, go watch this videos, this playlist, but nothing worked. Alex Su book, even that didn't work out for me. So I had to. I was still lost during interviews. So I think Raj sir's cohort was so much in detail, so much in depth, and that actually helped a lot. And yeah, he covered actually all the topics. So
Yeah. But I think that our system design is a little advanced and students should have done some things before, right? So we always suggest them to do a Don A. Martin primer or watch the videos on YouTube, all the videos on YouTube, and then come to us, right? So
yeah,
that is one of the things is there that okay, it may not be a basic to advanced, it may be an intermediate to advanced kind of thing.
yeah.
So what
There's this
three
hello
courses you would recommend to the
there's
students?
this hellointerview.com that
Hello,
I
interview.
really found it nice.
Mhm.
They have all the basic it's all you just have to read it. They cover all the basics and then they go through few questions. So I think that was really um it worked out for me at least. Yeah, but for everybody it works out differently. Some go through the grokking book, some go through different videos. There's this tech dummies guy also, Narendra or something. Yeah, he's also good.
All right, Atharv, you can ask your question. You can unmute yourself and you can ask your question. And then after Atharv, uh, Nitish, you can ask your question. And Atharv, Nitish, and then Supreet.
Hi,
Atharv,
Bahar.
you're there?
Congratulations.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. Congratulations on all of your offers.
Thank
So I
you.
had a question before this that, in such a bad market, uh, everyone is struggling to land interviews altogether, even myself. So I wanted to know, since you got so many interviews, what do you think worked for you? Like I'm looking for entry-level roles. I'm not sure it will be exactly relevant, but apart from recruiters reaching out to you themselves, what do you think worked for you the most to land interviews?
Did
Yeah,
the recruiters reach out to you? First question.
no, no.
Okay. Okay, go
They're
ahead.
reaching out to me now, but yeah, but recruiters never reached out to me. So even for me, it was difficult, especially my options were even more restricted because of the visa. There were a lot of companies that I was getting calls, but they told me, unfortunately, we won't be able to move forward because of CPT. So I was struggling with calls as well. So I did all I could do. I usually reach out to people on LinkedIn, mostly hiring managers. And I had a list of companies that I was very sure they support CPT. So I was targeting specifically those. Reaching out to the hiring managers. Drop a note when you send a connection request, which is 300 characters one. I just copy paste, send it to them, send it to all of them. And if you one among those 100 people hardly reply, so that was also not working for me. As so I kept applying. I reached out to my friends who were at companies. I asked them to, because they could internally see who the recruiter, who the hiring manager is. I would ask them to please DM them saying, I've referred her, please take a look at her profile. So I don't know if that helped or no, but yeah. And usually Microsoft, when I was applying, Microsoft, Oracle was hiring a lot. So I used to apply every day, go to Microsoft's website, careers website, apply to them. Oracle, actually, you can also filter based on you could see the number of applicants on some of the job roles. So the ones that were less than 10 applicants, I focused more on that because more chances of getting picked. Um, uh, the roles that were open today, I would go and apply to them. So I applied to a lot of them and got like called 2 times. Microsoft, I applied a lot of them. I interviewed thrice and I failed thrice.
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
I
Sure.
love the way that you are very honest about your failures also. That generally this we come across that you have 4 offers, all right, and we think that everything is very nice out there, and you never
No.
have failures. And I you were a great student in December 2020 also, and that's why you got into Amazon, and I didn't have any doubts, right? But you also had a fair bit of failures, all right?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, sir. I
I
had
failed
one.
a lot of interviews. So there were a lot of questions that were very easy that, oh, I did this. I know how to do this. But during interview, I was not able to solve it. And the kind of guilt you have after failing the interview, even though you could solve it. Right after the interview, you give me and I'll solve it. It's
Yeah.
running all fine. But during the interview, it never works. So I think that is also very normal. A lot of people, it happens to a lot of people. It's just not me.
Yeah.
But don't let this lose your confidence, or it's totally fine. You're just one call away from that opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I think that we should be making our mock interviews a little more pressure oriented so that you know how to work under pressure.
Yeah.
Uh, yes, Atharv, you
Sir,
had
I
a
had,
question. Go ahead,
yeah,
please.
one. Yeah. So I actually interviewed for Oracle recently as well, and I got rejected. So actually, a strange thing that I saw, that I interviewed for IC3 as well. I think you gave for IC4, right? So I'm
I
not
see
sure.
three.
You must. Okay, you gave for
I
IC3
see.
as well. So
Yeah.
sorry, I gave for IC2, which is SD1.
Okay. Yeah.
So in the last round, uh, so there are like the hiring manager was trying to dive too much deep into a specific project that I had done at my work,
Mm.
and
Mm.
go to the nitty-gritty details of it. So which I found something weird and I wasn't prepared for, and that I got thrown off kind of. And that was the round I think I got rejected for. That's my analysis. So to narrow down the question, apart from lead code, behavioral, and system design, wherever it is valid, what do you think are the other things that we should be prepared for apart from these three things?
Um, I think what I do whenever I get a call is I go to Lead Code Discuss to see the recent kind of questions they ask. Go to Glassdoor. Sometimes, you get the exact same question that is put on Lead Code Discuss. Brex was the company that asked me the exact same question that was on Glassdoor. But I didn't see that before. Yeah, so I would say go through lead code discuss or reach out to people who have cleared. Behavioral, even I was not ready. Initially, when I prepared all the top behavioral questions, but there's this company that I interviewed for next door. That was my first or second interviews. And they grilled me in behavioral. Like, they did ask me about all the basic questions which I prepared, technical challenging project or tight deadline, all these top behavioral questions. They asked me, why did you leave Amazon? Why did you go to Expedia? Why are you leaving Expedia now? So I gave the answer, but I was not very confident because I didn't prepare for it. So be prepared for these kind of questions because I was asked this in mostly all the interviews after that. Why are you leaving Expedia? So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. This is a question from Shruti. Actually, did Google have an initial pre-screen behavioral-based question that normally involves? She was asked this question in Google. So,
Yes,
do
yes.
you have a pre-screen?
Yes, there is a Google pre-screen round. It's basically just behavioral, agree, disagree kind of questions. And then once you clear that, you have technical phone screen round.
Got it. So I think Nitish's question is already covered. That how did you apply? And you already mentioned you went through your friends who are already working at the companies, and that's a privilege that you have if you are working at Amazon for a couple of years.
Mhm.
Then you get
Mhm.
to enjoy certain networks in the
Yeah,
industry.
but
Yeah,
yeah. Some companies even just referrals work. So for me, at least, I realized for different companies it worked out differently. Oracle referrals did not work, but I used to just keep applying, and then I got calls from two different recruiters from OCI at the same time. So I think just sometimes just applying works. Sometimes there are few companies whose referral works. Yeah, sometimes reaching out to the hiring manager works, but just keep trying all your ways out. If you cannot find somebody to refer, just keep applying.
got it. So Shreya, not Shreya. Do you think this is a question by Shreya? This is a good question. Do you think the system design is required for new grad roles? So you had a experience of new grad also in 2020, right? And now you as an experienced engineer, what would you recommend to the new grads?
For new grads, they usually don't ask system design. For me in Amazon, it was object-oriented design. How would you design the classes? What methods you would have? All these sort of questions. But I was never asked system design in my new grad roles.
All right. All right. Let me. So Neha asked LinkedIn search for jobs. Is there a better way than the referrals, I guess? And how do
Uh,
you navigate through the ATS checks? Or did you have to worry about the ATS checks and resume and LinkedIn search? Does that help?
ATS checks are actually, a lot of people told me to put it on ATS, see how much score you're getting, but I never actually did that.
Mhm.
Um, and LinkedIn search is, what is that? Is it for
Yeah. So,
jobs?
so yeah, it's for jobs. That's a feedback also I have that, okay, if you're, that's a waste of time.
Yeah,
LinkedIn jobs, applying for the jobs and search, LinkedIn to search for the jobs is not the best way. I think the referrals and
yeah.
using your networks is the right way to go about
Yes.
it.
LinkedIn, I did apply from LinkedIn jobs all the past 24 hours once. I use LinkedIn jobs actually to apply.
Okay.
But if there is a specific company I'm targeting for, then I go to their careers website and look, and I keep applying. I got call from Nextdoor just by the LinkedIn apply. So it works out differently for all the companies. I didn't know about Nextdoor initially, but since I found it on my LinkedIn jobs, I kept applying. Even Brex I got from LinkedIn jobs. So
Oh, so pretty useful resource then.
yeah, but I always used to filter out based on the past 24 hours.
So you used to use LinkedIn for knowing what's out there, and then
Yes,
you use
yes,
it to reach out to people.
reach out to
That's
people.
one of the ways. Sukhpreet asks, Sukhpreet, you can unmute yourself and you can ask yourself.
Hi, sir. Hi, sir. Bahaar. I just want to ask, how did you prepare your mock interviews? Like, what portal did you use to prepare for mock interviews for system design? And the second is like, how did you manage your time for this preparation journey? Like, how you focused your day because there are lots of ups and downs. You feel like, no, I'm not going in the right track, and then you feel, no, today is my day. Anything of that sort. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So mock interviews, actually coding rounds also, I was initially failing. So I used the S30 mock interview. I was able to schedule a mock interview. And I initially gave the mock interview, and the guy who was taking my mock interview was also looking for jobs, and he needed somebody who would take. So we both would take each other's mock almost every day.
So
Uh,
you're talking about the alumni interview feature, right?
yes, yeah.
So all the students at S30 have this feature. Once you are done with your cohort, then you will be having alumni interview, and I will be doing it on every Saturday, and I will be sending you that this student can interview, and I know that who is preparing, who are in the same boat right now. Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah,
please.
yeah. And for system design, I definitely used S30s. I had like every Sunday. But just before my interviews, I also asked my friends to take my mock interviews. Yeah, and they cross question you. They ask you, it's like a proper interview that they ask. So yeah.
Got it.
And yeah, what was the other question?
How did you manage your time? That's the second question that she asked.
Yeah, so April, May, June, I was full-time employee at Expedia, so I was not able to focus much. But at during my free time, I usually just kept applying, and I usually had one call at least once a week. It was either recruiter call or a phone screen round. So I usually then prepared for the tagged questions. I do as much as possible I could do. To be honest, I didn't take it very seriously the first 3 months because I had a job. But then July 1st was when it hit me that I'm unemployed and I have to seriously look for it. So that's when I was a full-time student or back to job hunt phase. And then I had all the time.
Got it. Awesome. Anudeep, I didn't understand your question correctly that you sent me in the direct message. A personal question to her is less pay with H1B cap exemption better than more pay with visa instability?
Uh,
Is his question. Did you
you mean
understand?
H1B cap exempt? There are a few companies that are H1B cap exempt, but I think they are not the private ones. Let me see.
Hi, Bahar, Anudeep here. I just wanted to ask you this question, because you said me that your H1B attempts were unsuccessful for the three times, and due to your CPT, some organizations were not accepting. If this was India, it is a different situation, but in US, we also consider these visa things. So I just wanted to ask you how you went through that process. Like, if let us say that we have an offer with a H1B cap exemption, which has less pay or a similar pay comparing to a normal private job with
Hmm.
H1B visa instability. So should we consider
So
that
I
as well?
think he's mentioning for the jobs like in academia or with non.
Uh,
Non-profit
any,
organizations
yeah.
are the ones that are cap exempt. Yeah, so I even thought about it, but uh I wanted more money because I'm paying more money for my fees. I wanted to earn more, and I've heard people do get jobs while you're on CPT, so I wanted to try all my ways and then explore the H-1B exempt option. So I didn't quite explore it.
Got it.
Okay.
All right. So Kaushik asks, coming from a .NET background, focusing on Java and Spring currently to get calls. Okay. Sometimes even think of doing DevOps. What do you suggest? Among all these dilemma, trusting DSA and SD or focus on certifications? Or
I
did you
think don't
find anything that okay, there is a bias towards the tech stack level out there in all these companies that you applied? Is there a bias towards that these kind of projects lead to an interview call?
Um, actually, no. So PayPal was the company that focused more on Java and even Walmart. So I think there are few companies that focus completely on, usually when I interviewed, they did not actually care about what language I was coding in or what tech stack I used. But yeah, I think Walmart focuses on Java, Spring Boot so much. Um, but if you have done projects, I don't know about certifications, but if you do projects, you get hands-on experience about the technology tool, language, everything. So if you have that on your resume, and you also get something to talk about during your behavioral interviews. So projects really help.
Yeah. Recently I had we started this thing also that okay, we want to
Yeah.
teach the projects to the students and that actually sit and build the projects, the whole tech stack. It's not we don't want them to become really great at web development. It's just that okay, they have good projects. And one
Yeah.
of the students, I don't know whether she is there or not, Swati. She is putting them on LinkedIn also, and she has done brilliant. She has, we were not even able to reach, and she was able to figure out the things, and she made really great projects. um, Yash, if you are there, can you unmute yourself and you can ask your question? Yash Pawar, please.
Yeah. Uh, there's always this time that you feel you're so low down on the bottom that there's nothing coming back, and you always feel like, it's the worst point right now, and you can't bounce back, and then you got to go back to India after giving so much to this country and working for so big organizations. Uh, if you had such a point, and if you had it, how did you, like, who was there for your support? How did you bounce back? How did you get back to CPT and everything? Because it's a tough journey. Maybe not even 1% of the students or someone who does that, right? Because most of them get H1Bs, but some of them don't. And even if they don't, they go to Canada. So eventually you are a small part of a small part. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, I rejections is very discouraging. You lose all your confidence. There were a lot of times when I felt I want to go back to India because it's not working out. I was like, I'm paying my university fees, I'm living in the US, I'm not employed, I'm paying all the rent, and I'm not getting any income. Why am I even doing this? What is the whole point? Um, uh, these thoughts always crossed my mind, and I was like, okay, if I go back to India, it's the same struggle. I'm not going to stay unemployed there. I have to look for jobs. I have to give interviews. Why not do it here? And then I gave this timeline until, okay, I'm going to try until December. If other people can get it, I can get it too. So I'm gonna try until December. And if I just go back, it's like, oh, I'm giving up so soon. And I'll just feel guilty that I quit so soon, or I didn't try out all my options. So I think if you do everything, give your 100%, it's always going to work out in the end. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I usually there was a lot of uncertainty because, especially on my visa situation, not knowing if I'm gonna get the opportunity or no. But yeah, I think it definitely works out in the end.
Yeah. Let me
Uh,
mention, Yash is also a great mentor. He has been mentoring the students at S30 also, and he has been mentoring the students at his school also. I think he's leading one of the societies also. So it will be very helpful for him to know. And next question is by Shubham. Shubham, can you unmute yourself and can you ask your question? It is about LLD, low-level design round, and how do you tackle that? And in fact, that is the same question that Atharv also has.
Hey, hi, Bahar. It's great hearing your experiences. Uh, but you always talk about system design part. So while you are giving interviews at multiple firms, did they ask any low-level design questions or object-oriented design questions? And what is your approach to tackle them?
Yeah, so usually for my role, I was not asked any object-oriented design questions, except for Microsoft. They did not ask me system design, but they asked me object-oriented design instead. And they give you a question, and you have to tell what kind of classes you would make, what kind of functions you would have, what it would do. There is no specific logic, unlike your coding interviews. It's all about how you would design your classes. Um, yeah, that's what they focus
Okay.
more on.
I think we do cover that object-oriented design in DSAs also. That okay, that
Yeah.
how do you design your objects? What are the we uh, it's not exclusively out there. It's not that this is LLD, but when we say design in DSA, it's more object-oriented design only. A quick request from Amrit in the Slack general channel after this call of ours. If you can mention all the resources that you mentioned that can be really helpful for the pre-course before coming into the S30 course, or any resources apart from S30 course that you feel for system design, then please mention that. I want to take this question. This is an interesting question from uh, Agastya. When did you realize that, okay, from junior, now you have to apply to the senior roles? So, for example, not IC2, and now it's time for you for IC3. Or was it the recruiters who were who were pushing you towards senior roles only?
Yeah, so when I was applying, I usually look at the number of years of experience they have in the job application. And yeah, I think I wouldn't be qualified for entry level roles at 3 years of experience or 4.5. So I usually apply for 3+ years of experience. So if it is less than 3 years, then you usually are under entry level, but 3+ is the next level, SD2 kind of.
Got it. All right. So the next question is by Premang, and this is an interesting one. Is it essential to complete over 500, 600 lead code problems? And how much time you allocate for one problem, and what do you do when you're stuck?
Um, Good question. So, uh, especially when I usually, what we tend to do, or at least I used to do, is try for 5 minutes. I'm not able to solve it, jump to the solution. So impatient. So that's not something you should be doing. And that's not something how you would remember the question. I would say, spend 30 minutes, do it, and there's this debugger tool that's really nice, lead codes, that really helps you see where you're doing wrong, what you're doing wrong. And if you're really stuck after those 30 minutes, then go to the solution and see. So that's how I remembered, okay, I was stuck and where I was stuck and how I solved it. So do not jump right, at least for me, do not jump right into the solution. Otherwise, it's like you're not using your brain, or you're not making efforts to solve it. And if there is something you're So you solve a problem, you're stuck for 30 minutes, you see the solution. There is always some kind of similar question to that. So try to solve that question if you're not able to solve that first one.
My timings are 20 minutes. I tell the students that struggle it for
Yeah,
20 minutes.
20
Neither
time box.
some students go up to 1.5 to 2 hours. They take it on their heart, and I'm not able to do it. They just keep spending a lot of time on the problem itself. 5 minutes is
Yeah.
too less. I think 1.5 hours or 2 hours is too high. In between
Yeah.
is somewhat you mentioned. Um,
Yeah.
okay. Did you do blind 75 on lead code? This is a question by Shweta. By any chance,
Um,
did you do blind 75?
No, I actually heard a lot of people doing it, but for me, at least topic-wise questions helped me. So I do all the 10, 15 questions that your list has. So I go through, do all those topics, and then, yeah, I think that covers actually the blind 75.
Got
All
it.
of them are there in it.
Yeah. Uh, do you think that the behavioral in general has increased since that layoffs have happened in the industry? After that, what changes you see in the because you had done interviews with Amazon also in December in January, right? In
Yeah.
2021 also. So what changes you have seen in the whole technical interview scenarios?
So I feel behavioral questions have become a lot stricter or a lot they dig more into it as to questions like what would you do or tell me about a situation when this has failed in production or how did you handle it. So those were the kind of questions I was not prepared for, or even during Amazon I was not prepared for, but these kind of questions were asked a lot. Yeah, so much they did focus more on behavioral and technical. Sometimes for me at least, coding questions, even if they go well, I was rejected. I never got the feedback. So I think there's a lot of competition, and it's just not about solving the problem. It's about what kind of questions you're asking, what are the follow-up questions, clarifying questions, all of those sort, and being able to explain it well.
Got it. All right. In fact, that was the question by Yash also, that okay, what can be that you are good at lead code, you are good at behavioral, you are good at lead code, sorry, at system design, everything you are good, still getting rejected. What can be the reasons? One you mentioned is the competition out there, right? Anything else that you want to mention?
Um, yeah, so initially I was not good at system design and behavioral. Coding, I think I was okayish because I just started out. So when I realized I'm bad at behavioral, I focused more on that, created stories again in star method, had more questions prepared. And then I was very scared about system design. I still prepared it, but was very scared of giving mocks. I failed a lot of interviews, and I thought this is the only solution. I have to go through mocks and I have to take classes. So realized it late, but yeah.
I want to mention over here about behavioral. If you go into your S30 dashboard, then we had an amazing professional. Her name is Sweetie Sojrani, and she had prepared all this list. And in fact, she mentored a lot of students. And besides students, I took her mentorship, and the way she explained about the star method and how you should be making it is very calm and amazingly impactful way. And one of the tips that I want to share with the students is that don't have only one story for every situation. For example, the failure story. If you're giving the same failure story to every interviewer, the four interviewers out there in Amazon or Oracle, then they are going to interpret it that you have limited experience, or it is a learner kind of question. All right, and the better way is have different stories, and they should be real stories also. Or just explore yourself more, but have that doc, the Word document, and write 3-4 stories for every situation.
Yeah.
Write at least the bullets. If you have written them, then you will be really good at them. All right, and keep working on these things in your career. All right, because your situation is going to come. In fact, that is a great resource for your professional development also. So that is one of the tips for behavioral rounds. How did you prepare for the last 2 weeks of interviews before you got once you got a call? I think she mentioned that okay, whatever the company tagged questions and the Glassdoor is a great resource. Uh, how many months it took for you to prepare for a job? I think 5 years. Now you have been doing.
Yeah, so I seriously started from July. So July, August, September end is when I got offers. So
Got it. All right. Did you modify your resume? This is a question by Renu and Premang. Did you modify your resume according to the job?
no, I used the same resume for all, but I
But
had all the
but
skills
then
in it.
okay, this is what they are going to wonder about. I know the answers that you are going to give, but this is what they are going to wonder, that if you didn't modify your resume, how did you get so many calls?
To be honest, I did not get so many calls. So 4 months, I was 5 months struggling, and I got like, I mean, now when I look at it, I got a lot of calls. But at that time, I felt, oh, I'm not. There were times when I was not getting any call. So there were 2, 3 weeks continuous when I had no calls, from starting from April until like August. So I think I kept applying a lot. That so Oracle, I must have applied to like 100 positions, and then I got one call. So I think if you apply to 100 of them, you definitely will get one. So uh yeah, I didn't actually change my resume.
And I don't
I
think
did
yeah.
few updates a month later or a few weeks later, add in a few keywords or skills, but yeah.
Would it I don't know. I think I might be having bias towards this. If you had modified your resume, would have worked for you? Would you have been able to pull it off? Because they would have asked you about them, right? The things that you have not done. If you have modified something with something which you have not done.
No, I didn't. Yeah, by modify you mean what? Just
By
add?
modify, okay, for example, if you are applying for a cloud role, then you include a project of cloud. All right,
No, no.
even if you might not have done that, just to get a call.
No, I didn't do that.
Yeah, that's smart actually. Because if you are choosing too many targets and you are having some things which you have not done, then you will not be able to. It's just a short term relief that you will be having, that
Really?
you got an
Yeah.
interview call, but you will not be able to clear it and you will bum it up, and then your confidence level will further go down.
No, yeah.
So not never a good thing to modify your resume. And that's why what it means by modification of, because a lot of HR agencies do it, right? They just include a lot of projects of
Yes.
yours which you might not have done. All right. We will just take last couple of questions, and in the interest of the time, then we will be stopping the session. And after taking last two questions, I will be asking Bahar to share anything that we might have missed in the questions, or in the things that I was talking about. Quick question: in this market, for the companies you heard back from where you applied directly, did you apply within 24 hours of the job posting, or did you apply
Yes.
even after that?
Uh, Usually I apply every day. So whenever I have the filter of last 24 hours, and I keep changing my location. So if usually it takes your LinkedIn location, mine was Seattle, so it showed me all Seattle jobs and not Bay Area jobs. So I kept changing locations: Seattle, Bay Area, New York, New Jersey, everything, and then have that past 24 hours filter.
Got it.
And I did this every day. So
Yeah, so I think it is smart to apply within 24 hours.
Yeah.
Do you feel the difficulty of the interviews has increased from 2021 to 2022, apart from the behavioral part?
I thought that the difficulty level will be increased, but no, it is not. There are few companies who still directly ask direct lead code questions.
Yeah.
So it's not that difficult. There are a few companies who are difficult, I would agree, but few companies who are not very difficult. So if you do the tagged questions, if you uh, are perfect with all the topic-wise questions, then you should be good.
Yeah, that's what we have. I have also felt by talking to a lot of students. So we will be the first one to change our our curriculum if that happens. If the difficulty increases, then we will change the curriculum accordingly. I've seen people. Okay, last question. Okay, guys. Venkatesh has a lot of people have solved more than 500 questions failing in the interviews. What is your this thing? Focusing more on the patterns or solving more problems? Is it the quantity or the quality?
It's definitely quality. So I would say struggle with a problem for like 20-25 minutes and solve it rather than just looking at the solution and solve 4 problems in 30 minutes. So, and for me at least, if I do a question, if I'm doing a new question, very normal to forget the next day how I solved it. So, uh, revising it and do the same question again. It's not that you're by hearting it, but it's that you're remembering the logic. So revising it actually helps. And the next day, if I forget again, I lose my confidence that, oh, I did it yesterday. So it's very normal that you forget questions. So revise and practice. At least for me, topic wise really helped. I had all the questions written and then, oh, I would do this like this, I would do like this.
Sure. Awesome. Anything that we might have missed, Bahar, that you want to mention as an advice to the students or a general advice, whatever you want to share?
I think do not take any of the interviews lightly. I took behavioral lightly. I focused on the top behavioral questions, had the situations ready, prepared for it. But they could ask any follow-up question based on your resume or based on what you have answered. So be very thorough about your resume. You know, practice as if you're telling it to a 10-year-old. How would you tell? So dig more into it, know every detail of everything in your project. Have the answers ready to why this company, why this role, why are you switching, what motivates you. These are the kind of questions I was not prepared for and I was asked. Behavioral, I've seen it has become a little difficult compared to what it was before. And yes, system design focus on the kind of company you're interviewing for. PayPal focuses on fintech, so do that. Oracle, I was asked something related to travel. So yeah, coding, I think company tagged. Realize what topics you're weak on. I was weak in array strings, very vague topic this is. So focus more on the topics you're weak in. And I think if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Awesome. Sorry, I just want to take one more question. She is Preeti, and she is asking this question. I can solve a problem, but not just in 30 minutes. It takes me more time to do it. Did you face the same problem that interviewers weren't forgetting about the time, forgiving about the time? Sorry. What do you have to say about it? That she is able to solve it, but she takes more time.
Yeah, I think doing it in time comes with a lot of practice. So if you're time boxing it for 30 minutes today, a week later do it like 25 minutes, time box it for 25 minutes and then 20 minutes. And if you are very confident about a topic, suppose BFS, if you're very confident, if you have solved like 20 problems, then you should not time box it for 30 minutes. Do it for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And within that, you should be able to solve. So Yeah, in interviews, I think the kind of question they ask you it's not very difficult. They plan it properly that this should be solvable in 1 hour or 45 minutes. So I think it only comes with practice.
Got it. Awesome. Thank you so much, Bahar, for this session. And we have been making you talk continuously without taking a break in between.
Yeah.
It's been an amazing session. I think it will be really helpful for the students. I'll request one thing, that if you can put your LinkedIn in the general channel, then all the students will be able to connect with you. And I will request all the students to not bombard Bahar with all the DMs. One of the reasons that she came over here and she answered your questions is that she wanted to take the questions collectively. Um, this is sincere request, and kindly don't ask for the referrals directly, that refer me over here, refer me over there. We have a mechanism to do that. We will be reaching out to Bahar, surely, that these are the students who have been performing good, and if she can, then she will be able to refer them. So kindly, refrain from, overwhelming her with the things. She has gone through uh, quite a journey, and all right, but it doesn't mean that her days are free totally now. And I know she must be graduating to the next struggle uh, at her work. Um, all right, and Bahar, just a quick request: if you can put the LinkedIn, then it will be really great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking our time, and you have been an amazing student, and you have been an amazing mentor as well.
Thank you so much. Happy to help. And if there are any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I
Awesome.
might answer late, but I'll definitely answer. Yeah.
Thank you so much.